Cubs are on the road again. Huge road trip. Colorado, then Arizona. 18 games remaining. I'm Mick Gillespie. Thanks for being here on the Cubs baseball channel. And hey, stick around. Come back for more, or at least give us a thumbs up on this video. Shoot your comments, and let's get into this. All right, tonight, 7:40, Colorado. The high altitude, we've got a matchup that we haven't seen, but we're going to see, and we're going to see it a lot, right? Because they play there, and then they come back to Wrigley. And with 18 games left, it would be nice if the Cubs played well against Colorado. These are all really important games. And, what we saw with the series against the Diamondbacks, now the Diamondbacks are in the playoff mix fighting with the Cubs, is that these games had just huge playoff intensity. And it reminded me of the Cubs Diamondbacks in the playoffs. And I want to say it was like 2007, maybe 2008. But you guys remember with Alfonso Soriano and Derek Lee and those really good Cubs teams. And then they got into the playoffs and they couldn't score against the Diamondbacks. I don't know why, but how frustrating was that? Kind of felt the same way in the first three games. But got yesterday's game on Sunday, and I really felt like that was an important game for a few reasons. First off, you really had to have it. I didn't think the pitching matched up really fairly. Well, maybe not fairly, but it just didn't match up the way that you would want it to match up for the Cubs the first two games. The third game, you had Justin Steele, and he pitched fantastic. A lot of mistakes, base running mistakes, missed opportunities. I mean, we can get into all that stuff, but at the end of the day, Morel and Bellinger and those guys took care of business. Kyle Hendricks was great again. And, when the Cubs needed a stopper, he was the guy. They win the game. They end up 4-3 in the homestand. So mixed bag, you sweep the Giants and then you have to salvage a game in a 4-game set against Arizona. But with that said, let me pull up the wild card standings, and this is updated right now. That's why I didn't do this video last night, because there was Colorado played the Giants last night, and the Giants beat them. So here's the updated standings. As we sit, 18 games left for the Cubs in the wild card. That's Cincinnati down at the bottom. So they're tied with San Francisco. So you got Philadelphia 4 games up. The Cubs yesterday puts them 2 games ahead of Arizona, 2.5 games ahead of Miami, who's outside of the playoffs looking in. And then the Giants and the Reds are a game and a half back. So don't play any of those teams except Arizona on this road trip. But got to get there, and you can't look ahead and say, oh, well, we're playing Arizona. Look, you're playing Colorado today, and it's a must-win game. And I like the pitching matchup. Kyle Freeland can be really good. 6-14 record, 5.09 ERA, but he's also pitching in Denver. So, some of those numbers are going to be inflated. And you not only see that with, pitchers that are in that altitude, but also in the Pacific Coast League, where they got more teams that pitch at altitude and all their ERAs are high. The ball just travels further. Hopefully Jordan Wicks will continue what he's done, and that's just absolute brilliance for the rookie. This is his 4th start. He's 3-0, 2.16 ERA. Cubs would not be where they are right now had not Jordan Wicks showed up and pitched so well. So this is a really interesting test for him and the Cubs. They're going to need to get the bats going. They're going to need to score a lot of runs because, obviously you give up more runs when the ball flies further, and it's harder to throw pitches there. And you guys know the story. So that's what we're looking at today. Central Division standings, I'm going to pull those up, and we'll look at those as well. Cubs did pick up a game yesterday. So right now, they're 3 games back of Milwaukee. So, both teams have kind of played, 500 baseball here lately, including their last 10 games where they're 5-5. And, the Cubs haven't been able to take advantage of it, but they're staying pat. And remember, the last 3 games of the season are the Cubs and the Brewers. And that Brewers team, and I don't know that this is going to happen, but it reminds me of when they were an AL team and they had to play Baltimore at the end of the 82 season. And then, they had this lead and Baltimore kept it close. And then they ended up basically catching them. And the way I remember it was a 3-game series, and then they had some kind of a rain out to make it a 4-game series. Baltimore was 3 back. They tied them. And then on the last day, it was like a playoff game. Don Sutton for the Brewers against Jim Palmer for the Orioles, a couple of future Hall of Famers, and the Brewers ended up winning that. But despite that, they did blow the lead, and Baltimore ended up catching them. So it has happened in the history of Milwaukee, although that was a long time ago. As we kind of move forward. All right, another piece of news. Today we'll be keeping an eye on Arizona and Marcus Stroman. He's going to, from what we're being told, throw a live batting practice. If that goes well, then potentially a minor league baseball rehab, although I don't think that's set in stone yet. Last night, congratulations to the Tennessee Smokies, although they've lost, I think, like maybe 13 out of 15 games or something like that. They ended up making the playoffs, but they did have a really good come from behind win yesterday to clinch their playoff spot with 6 regular season games left. But then they'll be in the playoffs. So not sure what the timeline is. You also have the Iowa Cubs and the South Bend Cubs making the playoffs. But the minor league seasons are starting to dwindle down. So if he's going to make a rehab, I'm guessing that it's going to be pretty soon. Some of you guys were like, well, what is he going to start or is he going to be a reliever? I think that's still to be determined. I don't think that anything's been decided yet because they've got to figure out like if he's even going to be able to be there and how he looks. And if he's able to start, why wouldn't you start him? I mean, he'd be a great option. So, we'll find out. I mean, although Taillon pitched excellent against Arizona, he's been up and down. When Stroman was healthy, he was an all-star. So we'll find out. But hey, look, maybe he's a back-end bullpen guy. Then you could use that too. And the way that the Cubs have played all of these close games, you figure out a spot for Stroman, whether it be starting or relieving, because if he's pitching like he did before the injury, then he's a real asset for the team. So again, Cubs and Rockies today, tomorrow, 7:40 Central Time, and then a day game on Wednesday. Then they head to Colorado. The way I got it, let's pull up the schedule and look at it. I just can't believe that there's only like 18 games left. That's crazy. But I guess that's just the nature of this business too. I mean, like you start at the beginning of the year and you're like 162 and then it winds down. So yeah, there you go. You got 3 Colorado off Thursday, 3 Arizona off Monday, and then back home for the final homestand of the year. And then the Braves and the Brewers, a couple division leaders to finish the campaign. Again, thanks for hanging out. Subscribe, share with your friends, give us a thumbs up. I know that some of you guys hate when I say that, but that's why we're here. We're here because we're trying to build something, and you guys are making this happen. Thank you so much.